What's good, fam? No, I'm just playing. Look, what's good, fam? It's Mr. Kelly with Good of the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And before we get started, I'd just like to ask you if you would please subscribe, share my videos, put in the comments anything that you'd like for me to talk about. But today I want to talk about, with everyone coming out of this, stay-at-home orders, what are you going to do for work? What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to work, or are you not going to work? So let's start with the essential workers. First of all, salute and I applaud all of you guys that are out there doing the essential work while everybody was staying at home. The things that needed to be done: your truck drivers, your doctors, your nurses, your cleaning personnel, your firemen, police officers, grocery store workers for sure, that kind of thing. So hats off to you guys. Appreciate all that you've done. Looks like a lot of the states are coming off of the stay-at-home orders, and those that aren't, they will be soon. What are you going to do for work? So I think for work, a lot of people, and this is just my honest opinion, I think a lot of people that are on unemployment, I think a lot of them are going to stay on unemployment. That's just the way the system is. But for those of you that don't, what are you going to do? I think if you've never have before, maybe this is the time to think about going into business for yourself and being an entrepreneur. Whether that's just by yourself or whether that's, with some family members or some buddies or whatever. And figure out something that you can maybe do. It's a whole new world. I personally don't think that the world is going to be the same as it was in January and February of this year. I think things have changed, and I think a lot of things are going to be changed forever. I've spoken about this in a number of my other videos, but I think things are going to change. And so we just have to evolve and adapt and innovate, right? So I think something that might be interesting to look at is maybe a food truck or something in that vein, right? Because even when they start opening up restaurants and all of that, we still have the social distancing. In a lot of states, and I know my state, they're talking about wearing the mask is when you're in public is now mandatory. Now again, it's going to pass in my state. I think it already is in some other states. And if you get caught without it, you could be fined up to $999. I don't know how strong they're going to enforce that, but that being said, I think a food truck might be an interesting business avenue. I know I saw before mobile barbershop type deal, which is actually pretty cool. If I could cut hair and have that kind of money and creativity, and maybe we were in a city where I felt like that was a big demand, it's pretty cool. Hopefully I'll be able to find some and be able to post some of the pictures. But if you've seen some of these mobile barbershops and stuff, those are pretty cool. Mobile nail salons, obviously food trucks because you go to the people. But I think that things like that are going to come into play. I think a lot of people are going to be able to work from home. So if you have a business where you have e-commerce, where you're maybe making masks. Actually, my uncle made that mask. Made one for me and everybody in our family. He made like 80 of them and then mailed them out across the country. So kudos to Uncle Dennis. You the real hero. But if you're making anything like masks or any type of PPE or anything like that, and you can sell it online, I think that's a big deal. Something you could look into. Podcasts, YouTube, that kind of thing. For me, I do this YouTube, and I'm wanting to get a podcast. Really, it's just a creative outlet for me, and I like to get my 2 cents out there and that kind of thing. So I'm not really looking to live off of this. I am a business owner, but it's not this. Should you guys out there so bless me to have a lot of subscribers and a lot of views and all that, and it were to go in that direction, I absolutely wouldn't turn it down. But that's not really my goal for having this. But I do appreciate everybody that's supporting. Being an entrepreneur, it's a big deal. I think, and then changing, maybe this has opened your eyes to change what you want to do. Maybe it's a career change opportunity, right? So a lot of people found out that the jobs that they have maybe aren't as secure as they once thought. So I know people that are in the travel agents and kind of sell timeshares and kind of do that kind of thing. They were, a lot of them were let go. I know some personally that were let go, and I don't think that that's going to be an industry that bounces back real quick. Like, of course, it's going to bounce back a little bit because at some point in time, people are going to go back on vacations and timeshares and do all that. But I mean, I would venture to say an educated guess on that, the chances of that bouncing back to what it once was, 2 years, easy, because people are living check to check. The stimulus check kind of gave some people a bump or whatever. But I mean, who now is in a position to pay for a family of 4 or whatever to go to Disneyland or Disney World, right? And then even if you do, you have those resources. Do you want to go to Disneyland or Disney World right now? You know what I mean? Go to an amusement park that was going to have thousands upon thousands of people. And are they still going to have thousands upon thousands of people? I mean, I'm really interested to see how this is going to work. But again, because of that, I think places like movie theaters are going to suffer, because who wants to sit and watch a movie shoulder to shoulder with 400 people? One person coughs in there. You can imagine the melee that could ensue from that, right? Even regular restaurants, with social, because even when we go back to normal life, social distancing is still there, right? And people are still going to be on spook. People are still going to be concerned. I believe it's still going to be an issue. My understanding is when the winter time comes, that it's going to potentially be worse. I think another possible job opportunity for some people, maybe real estate, right? Buying and selling of commercial properties and residential properties is still something that is going to need to be done. So my whole point is, I want you to think about what are you going to do for work. Because look, at the end of the day, you still got to live. This could be potentially maybe a boost in agriculture, right? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about farming. I've been on some farms. When I was a kid, I worked on a farm or two in the summer in the soybean field, which was real cool. But my understanding is most farms, I guess, it's kind of a 50-50. Like half of them are small family farms and the other half are like big corporations that run and own them. But that might be something to look into if you have a green thumb and want a job where you kind of control your destiny a little bit. But it's also definitely a necessity because irregardless of what comes down the road, we're always going to need to eat. People are going to always need food. Stores are always going to need that and that kind of thing. The restaurant industry, I think, would be something that maybe if you're an entrepreneur, you could open only in the sense of if it's a restaurant that doesn't necessarily have a big dining. I think this whole delivery, like the DoorDash thing, the whole delivery, or you order your food and pick it up and take it to your home, I think that's going to, that's the wave of the future right there. That's not going to change. So definitely look into some other things. I think the way that we used to look at it is going to be different. There's a lot of stuff, like even gyms. I started seeing on the commercials now where you can buy, it's increased where there's this little software packages where you just work out at home. The trainer's on the laptop, right? And you're doing, kind of like the P90X and the Insanity and all that. But it's evolved towards a little bit more like free weights, and it's not just cardio type stuff and fat burning stuff. So if you got a knack for that, that might be something to look into. But the whole point is, definitely look into some other options because the world is different now. The world is changing. It's a digital world. It's going to be a panicked world. If any of you guys out there, there's a movie that came out a few years ago. I'm going to see if I can find at least a little snippet to put up there. It was called Surrogate, and it had Bruce Willis in it, and it's like an artificial intelligence type thing, but basically everybody would be like jacked in at home on this virtual reality type deal. And then your actual sim or whatever would go out into the world. So you actually never left your house, but you would interact with the rest of the world via this, this remote control body sim type thing. It was pretty cool though. It was very interesting. So if somebody has that technology, I would be very interested in seeing how that would work out. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now, we'll all be just staying at home and living the virtual reality like life. But yeah, so definitely the whole employment thing is something I want everybody out there to think about. And kind of just see how you can make this whole, how you can make these lemons turn into lemonade for you, right? I am very biased in the sense I feel like everybody should be an entrepreneur to some degree or capacity. If you can't own a business 100%, go in with 2 of your friends and everybody owns a third. If it's trustworthy and it's, you get to get smart people on, go 5, everybody gets 20%. Go with 10, everybody gets 10%. You know what I mean? But I think whether it's in part or as a whole, own your own business. Really push whatever it is. entertainment's not going anywhere for sure. So I mean, if you're musically talented in any genre of music, or you play instruments, whatever, do your thing, do that. I see some DJs on Facebook and Instagram going live like every Friday and Saturday, and I don't know how that's monetized or whatever, but that seems like it's pretty cool. There's a new thing out there called, I think it's called Twitch maybe, something. I'll look at that, but there's some other platforms out there. So definitely be creative, right? I don't know what you single people out there are going to do, right? Thank God I'm married, because I don't know how single people now are going to go on dates or going to interact. I guess y'all did it online anyway with Tinder, Tumblr, or whatever. So, but I mean, at some point in time, you got to physically go meet this person. But now everybody's got to be, concerned about, is this person, got the COVID or got something. Obviously, another job path for some of you, if you have the brains for it or are so inclined, obviously anything in the medical field. Again, hats off to the nurses and doctors out there. But to be a nurse, whether it's an LPN or an MA or RN, anything in the whole nursing world, we absolutely need you guys for sure. And I think that's something that's never going to go on the decline. Not even just in doctors' offices, but anything with dental offices, old folks' homes, child care for sure is something. Child care is a good way to make money if you have the patience. And you have some trustworthy people, and you got to vet everybody, because you got people's kids' safety. But if you could do that, and get licensed for that, I think that's a good way to make some money too. You got to have the patience for it. Don't be just money motivated on that. If you don't have the patience for children, don't do it, because they will wear you out. I'm a father of 4 kids, and they wore me out. So to have a daycare where you're watching 2, 3, 4, 5 dozen children, you got to be about that life. But this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood. Appreciate your support again, and peace.